Good afternoon, everybody. It's Jillian here, and wanted to come on this afternoon because I want to continue this talk about words that stress moms out. I'm having some fun with it, and I know that it is hopefully helpful. It's definitely helpful for me just because it's forcing me to think about how to make these words a little bit easier and kind of come up with some tips that I've done to at least take some of the stress out of them. And if you don't know my story, I have always been a full-time working mom since I had kids, which was about 6 years. My oldest one is now 7. And about a year ago, I was able to walk away from my job and start working from home. And there's been some challenges there. So I know what it's like on both ends. And working from home is not as easy as I was hoping it would be. And I had a lot of thoughts about... Thank you, buddy. They're sucking up with flowers since I'm on video. So I had a lot of thoughts when I had first started being home. And it was things like, oh, I'm going to have this really sparkly clean house because I'm going to have all this time.
I'm helpful. I gave Mommy a flower.
And I'm going to have dinner cooked every night by 6 o'clock. My kids are going to be in bed by 8. Things are going to be so much less stress. And I'm going to just have time to exercise every day. And it was going to be just wonderful. We're going to be eating healthier because we're not going to be so rushed in the evenings. And my kids are going to be on time to school every day. And it was just, all these wonderful, awesome ideas. Now, I will say that my stress level is definitely down because I have time freedom. And when you have time freedom, you just can't put a price tag on that. But the rest of it is not what I pictured.
I'm gonna go
because the one thing I never anticipated, and if you're a stay-at-home mom, then you definitely know what I'm talking about, is every 5 seconds, every minute, there is a little person who needs something from me. So I might sit down to get started on a project, and next thing you know, he needs a snack, he needs help with going potty, he needs the TV changed. He's 4 years old, so he's very needy at this age. And I just never factored that in because working out of the home, I had always, I had those 8 hours where I could start something and finish something, and even something as simple as a cup of coffee, I could start and finish, and it would be hot till the very end. And so that was a big adjustment for me in the beginning. One of the things that had come up for just about everybody, no matter who you were, whether you're working at home or not, you're working out, is cleaning that house. And I loathe it. I don't know very many people that like it, but we all like a clean house. I would imagine. It's just something that is really kind of overwhelming. And I don't know about you, but when I get some free time and children are not, wanting things from me, then I don't want to clean the house. I would rather either get some work done or just sit in silence. Now I have a bouquet here. So it's not cleaning. So I have some tips that have helped me just keep on top of things. I will preface this with, I do not keep things perfect, and I do not keep a sparkly clean house like I had imagined. But these are some things that I've done because I am not one that's going to, I used to do this, especially when I was working, but I'm not one to save it all up over the course of a couple weeks and let it get really bad to where it's an all-day endeavor, because that's really, it's exhausting, it's not fun, and I would rather just have a little bit to do. So that's the first thing you really want to think about, is spreading it out over the course of the week. So every day you're doing a little bit, but a little bit that doesn't take very long. And you've probably seen this around the internet, certain bloggers that clean, or mother type bloggers that give you sample schedules. So I tweaked the one for myself, and on Mondays I clean the bathrooms, Tuesdays I'm vacuuming, Wednesdays I'm forgot what I put on Wednesdays. and Thursdays are mopping days, and Fridays are doing whatever I didn't get to during the week. Every day we pick up toys before we go to bed. Every day we make the bed. Wednesdays is the decluttering the mail. A lot of people probably have the junk mail, Kyle. And so, you know, and then bins and boxes and, you know, drawers and things like that. If you've got kids, then the toys tend to take over. So I know some of you are, for Lent, doing 40 days of 40 bags and decluttering. That has helped me a lot. I did that last summer, and every weekend I picked a room or a closet where I would declutter and clean it all out. And so when you have less things, you have less things to pick up. So if a toy was broken or there was something that we didn't use for the last 6 months, then I got rid of it. And nothing was safe in our house for that time period. I decluttered my closet. I got rid of things that I hadn't worn in 6 months. And that was less laundry, that was less toys to pick up in the evenings, and it just really cleared up a lot for us. If you are living in a cluttered house, there goes my kids. If you're living in a cluttered environment, then it does actually affect your health. So that's really something I would encourage you to do to begin with. And then get the bins. We have a little crate that sits in our living room that we just, you know, when there's toys floating around, then I put them in the living room. Then I put them in that crate. So I have some tips that I wrote out in a blog post earlier today, and if you want to get that, I posted that link in the title of this so that you can get that. It lays out the schedule that I roughly follow. And the interesting thing was, when I thought about it, is this was a schedule that I had even when I was working full-time, and it's a schedule I still strive to follow now, but it's a schedule that I don't follow perfectly, ever. There's not been 1 week where I've ever followed it to a T, but it's something that keeps me on track so that there's never a day where I have to spend it all cleaning. I usually just have to dedicate 30 minutes to an hour, and there are days where I just say, I don't want to clean at all, and I don't do it at all. And there are weeks sometimes that I don't get to it all because I'm busy with something else. So for me, I've had to let it go that just because I work at home, and you stay-at-home moms, I'm sure you've got to tell yourself this too, that just because you're at home doesn't mean that your expectations of keeping that house spick and span are higher, because our important job and our primary job is raising kids, and for this season of life at least, and, you know, feeding them nutritious meals and getting their homework done, and, you know, all the other things that come along with that. So if you want to get those tips and the schedule I laid out, there are some other great ones out there, but I think realistically most of us don't dust and mop every week, and unless we have guests coming over. So I put that in there. And one that I also added there was always to make sure your house smells good, because even a really clean house will, if it doesn't have a good smell to it, it's going to feel dirty. And you know what I'm talking about. Everybody's house has a smell to it, and you don't really smell it because you're used to it and you're accustomed to it, but if you walk into somebody else's house, you're going to smell. So you just want to make sure that that smell that your house has smells good. So whether it's you're plugging an air freshener in, for us it's a diffuser. We're always diffusing something because I want my house, I know I've got 3 boys, a dog, and a rabbit. So I can imagine that the smell that I'm smelling, that I don't smell because I'm used to it, may not smell so great to other people. So I always want to make sure there's a diffuser going, especially when we have guests, because I want to make sure that my house isn't known for the yucky smells. So this is another tidbit to think about, is make sure that even though your house is clean, it may not smell so great. So the link in my bio, or not my bio, the title here will give you some of those tips that I just talked about, and that detailed schedule that I have been following for, I don't even know, it's probably been at least 3 or 4 years, that has helped me stay on top of it and avoid the all-day cleaning, frenzies, so that we can have more time to do the things that we love. So have a great afternoon, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.